Hey guys, Stella here. I wanted to just come and do like a quick update and kind of like share our labor and delivery story, because if you watch some of my other videos where I was trying to induce or I was like kind of getting discouraged, I just want to kind of close the loop and also just to share my story in case there's other mamas out there who are going through something similar, because I know I like going on YouTube and just being like, okay, watching a video and be like, okay, I'm not alone. And so this what I'm feeling is normal. So our story. I was due on December 4th. And so if you know, you watch my other videos, obviously I didn't have the baby then. And so December 6th, I remember just waking up and I was really, really, really tired. Like tired and like in pain and just like, okay, this is weird, but we're just gonna go with it. And so I remember just like moving from one place to the next and just being like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. And I was having some contractions, but they weren't consistent. And so for me, I was kind of like, I don't want to go to the hospital until it is like game time, like we're about to have this baby. So that was kind of my mentality. And so I remember just trying to make it through the day and then just being like, okay, I was experiencing some bleeding, but then again, it wasn't anything like, oh, an alarm or anything, because I was like, okay, this is my mucus plug. Like, finally, I'm starting to, labor. And so this is fine. And so I remember texting my mom and telling her like, okay, my bleeding is kind of increasing. Like, should I go to the doctor? And she's like, yeah, just call the doctor just in case. So I called the doctor. And she was like, okay, well, we're about to close. I would have you come in here, but I need you to go to the hospital and I need you to get checked out. And so I'm like, oh, okay, I'll do that. So I called my husband. I'm like, hey, they want me to go in and get checked out. So he comes home, we go pick up baby girl, and we go to the hospital. So we get there, they hook me up to the machine. And so they hook me up to the machine and they're checking her heart rate. And I'm like, this is looking way too familiar for me. If you know from my previous videos, all I wanted to do was have a VBAC, because a VBAC, vaginal birth after C-section. Because with my previous labor and delivery, like, it was just really traumatic for me. Like, I went in and they tried to induce. They kept me hooked up to this machine, pumping this medicine in me. I was having these forced contractions. I had to stay in one spot. Then they sent me home and they were like, come back and we'll do it again. And they tried again. So 48 hours, I'm just hooked up to this machine. And I was like, I cannot go through that again, only to have an emergency C-section. That was awful. So this time, all I wanted was to be back. I was willing to wait 2 weeks past due date. I was, whatever I could do in my power, I was willing to do. And my doctor was the same. So when we get there and they're like, okay, her heart rate is looking a little different. We're a little concerned, but nothing to be too concerned about. They were like, we won't admit you right now. We're just going to keep watching. So they were kind of trying to be positive. I was trying to be positive, but at the same time, I was like, I've seen this before. Like, this is looking really familiar. And so they're like, yeah, every time you have a contraction, her heart rate drops. And so we're really concerned about that. She seems really stressed. So I'm trying to be positive. My husband's trying to be positive. They're doing all this hush hush talk, the nurses between the doctors, and then the nurse is like, yeah, we don't know if we're admitting her. And then the nurse is like, okay, we're admitting you. And the other nurse is like, what? So the doctor makes a decision that, you know what, we're admitting you. And the nurse is like, well, the good news is we're gonna have a baby before you leave the hospital. And I'm like, that's not good news for me, because what that means is you're going to take this baby. So I'm upset because I didn't eat. I had ate at like 2 o'clock. At this point, it's like 8. And I'm like, dang. So I realized they're not going to let me eat until I deliver this baby. So I'm going to be hungry for however long it takes to have this baby. And so they admit us. They change us to another room. They hook me up to an IV to get fluids in me. At this point, I am having serious contractions. And to the point where it is so painful. And I can't move though, because they want you in one spot so they can monitor the heart rate of the baby, which is very unnatural, because if you know anything about giving birth and stuff, things like walking, bouncing on a ball, anything like that is going to help the pain But I'm just sitting there and they have me hooked up to this fluids, and this is all night at this point. And if I want to go to the bathroom, I have to wake up my husband. He has to unplug all the plugs, go to the restroom, come back. And it's just a painful, painful situation. And I'm blessed that we made it through the night, because it's another thing. I didn't want another doctor delivering me my baby, or even if it was via C-section, I wanted it to be my doctor. And so we made it to the morning, and they didn't have to do like emergency C-section or anything like that. So I was thankful for that. And then that morning, I remember just waking up being in so much pain. Not waking up, I didn't go to sleep. But I remember just being in so much pain. I'm like, you know what, made it to the morning. And the nurse comes in, she checks my cervix, and she's like, you haven't dilated at all. I'm like, wow. So I'm getting these painful, painful contractions as if I'm in labor, but have not dilated at all. At this point, it's been hours, hours and hours. And I'm like, you know what? It's like, I've seen this before. I was like, can you just call the doctor? I know she's on her way in. Just call her, let her know I'm okay with having a C-section. Because at this point, y'all, I'm like, I cannot do this again. I cannot sit through this for 48 hours. I am in the worst pain of my life. There's no medicine. I can't move. I can't relieve it anyway, because they want to check the heart rate of the baby. And I'm like, I can't do this for another 24 hours. And so the nurse was like, okay, I'll let her know. And she's like, and to be honest, like, Mom, you're making a good decision, because I'm looking at your heart rate, I'm monitoring your papers. And she's like, I don't know that you're going to make any progress with your cervix, like, before we have to actually take the baby. So if I would have waited, I would have just been waiting, and they would have been doing that just to be courteous to me. So my doctor comes in, she's real calm, confident. She's like, you gave it your best shot. You did everything that you could do. So, you know, it's okay. And so, I remember at this point, like, all these thoughts are like sinking in my head. And I'm just like, God, why am I broken? Like, why does my body not work? And why can't I just have a baby normal, like every other woman? And so I was not planning on crying in this video, but yeah, I just remember having those thoughts and thinking, and y'all, like, I have to tell you, like, when I say I did everything in my power, like, I was lifting weights all through my second trimester, all the way up, even a part of my third trimester, running. The day before I gave birth, before they did the C-section, I walked 4 miles and did some stairs. Like, I don't know that. So to hear people say, well, you just need to do this, I did everything in my human power to have this baby. And so to know, like, I did everything, and still I can't control my cervix. And so that's hard. At the same time, it's humbling. Like, God is in control, but I'm like, dude, like, how should we even have more babies? Like, can we even? Because I can't even give birth. Like, that's what I'm designed to do, and I can't even do that. So all these thoughts are coming in my head anyways. And we're moving towards, they're about to do the surgery. So we go in, they go through all the procedures, you know, check the gloves, you know, everything, sanitize, whatever they do. And they numb my legs, which I hate that part. I hate it. They numb my legs, they put everything in my spinal block or whatever they do, and I'm just laying there. And at this point, my husband's not there, and he's like the one that really keeps me really positive. And so he's not there, so my mind is just like gone, and I'm trying to be positive. So anyways, they do it. The doctor does a C-section. My daughter does everything with such excellence, and so she gets the baby out, and I am like, she shows me the baby, and I'm just like, whoa, you know. And I think the difference between this delivery and last one is that I'm not in shock so much of the surgery. My first baby, I was so in shock. Now when they showed me the baby, I was just like, I was just looking, like, I didn't even have any emotions. Like, it was bad. So with this baby, they took her out, They were weighing her, and my husband, like, I don't know that if we're blessed to have more kids, I don't know that his excitement level will ever go down. He was just like walking back where he's like, man, she's 8 pounds, 5 ounces, she's a big baby. And he would go back, he'd be like, she got a head full of hair. He was like, man, you know, he'll go back and just like report something else to me, and he was just so excited, and so that kept my spirits up a little bit. And so anyways, they move us to our room. And so this would be like our second night in the hospital, and so they move us to our room, and like, I'm just annoyed because I don't want to be in the hospital. And oh, this part really gets to me too. At that point your legs are still numb, so you can't feel your legs, but they're like checking your blood level, and they're pushing on your stomach, and oh, it's so weird. And so you can't feel your legs, so they flop your legs open, and they just like are doing whatever they're doing, and you just feel really like not like a human. And that was hard. It was really hard. Anyway, so that night, I'm processing all these emotions. I'm really just want to get out of this hospital. At the same time, I can't sleep because I'm just so excited to meet my baby. Like, she is so sweet, y'all. Like, she nursed right away. She did such a different experience than with my first. It's crazy. You can see your child's personality from the moment they're born. So God literally, he knits them in your womb, and that's a video for another day. But yes, she is so sweet. And so I can't, it's like Christmas Day for me. I'm literally just up, and she's so sweet. You can't get over her. And so yeah, I don't know, there's that. And then so my husband, I just want to get out of there. So my husband had to help me with everything. So we finally get out of there. We're supposed to leave at 11. We don't leave till 3. I was going crazy because I just wanted to get out of there. Because when you didn't want to have a C-section in the first place, and then you have a C-section and you're in there, like, you feel trapped. I felt trapped, and I needed to get out of there for my like mental stability. And so we get out, and I remember they made me go in like a wheelchair. And I was like, I can walk out of here. They're like, no, it's like hospital procedure. And there's so many hospital procedures. Like, your baby's sleeping in this plastic thing. I wasn't sleeping with, like, my husband couldn't sleep in the same bed with me, obviously. And it just felt really unnatural. So I was ready to get out of there. I was like, whatever, put me in the wheelchair, wheel me out. So they put me in the wheelchair. We went out. I remember just leaving, and that's all I wanted to do was leave. But literally when I got in the car, I was in tears, y'all. Like, in tears. And my husband was like, are you okay? And it was just weird because it was like all I wanted was to get out of this hospital. Like, that's all I wanted. But then I remember leaving and thinking, like, I'm entering into a world where nobody understands what I'm going through. And I don't have any friends in this season, so it's just really hard. And I remember thinking, like, I'm alone. Like, nobody knows what I just went through. And nobody knows what I'm about to go through when it comes to the healing process of this whole thing. And so, I remember just thinking, like, okay, I can do this. So I get home, and if I want to sit on the couch, my husband has to help me. If I want to get up, my husband has to help me. And so I'm sitting on the couch, and I'm just looking. We have all of our strollers and all of our diapers, and everything is organized. We have everything we need for this baby, like, and versus like my first, we just had the basics, and we just made it work. I was like, babe, we spent so much time getting everything that we needed, organizing everything that we have, but I didn't spend enough time preparing myself spiritually for what I was gonna go through. Yeah, my toddler is on the floor throwing her 20th fit since the baby's been here, like, just off the chain. Like, from the scale of 1 to 10, she is on a 12. It's still on a 12. That's some video for another day as well. I was like, we're not ready for this. We're not ready for 202. I was like, I can't do this alone. I cannot do this. And so we go to bed. If I wake up in the middle of the night to nurse or pump, he has to lift me up. If I want to shower, if I want to, like, there are times I couldn't even like lift myself up off the toilet because of my incision. I was in so much pain. I remember I was like, God, you're a healer. Take this away from me. Heal me. Make my baby act right. Like, please. And I remember it's almost like God, like, literally said to me, no. He was like, the scripture fell in my heart. It's just like, no, like, when you're weak, my strength is made whole. Like, that is when you see my strength. And he was like, you've been operating out of your own strength for too long. And so right now you are just where I need you to be. And so I was like, you know what? It's true. Like, I've been doing things on my own terms. And so this birth has really humbled me. And so, and I am completely dependent on God to make it through the season. And it's crazy because it's exactly where we want to be. Like, we love being parents. We love our girls. Doesn't mean it's not hard, right? And so I'll do another video on kind of like processing through the emotions, because this one's really gotten long. I just wanted to share the story though. And one thing I'm doing is just really preaching to myself. Like, I will literally get my Bible out and prepare a sermon for my heart. And so maybe I'll share some of those on here, but sometimes you just have to do that. So thanks for hanging out for this long video. If you're new to my channel, you're a mom or on YouTube, or even if you're not, whatever, subscribe. I love getting to know new people. Introduce yourself in the comments. And I'll see you guys soon. Bye.